Good evening, boys and girls. What a night of football. The tournament has finally come to life. It all started last night with this joyous, beautiful human being of a player. And do I have a treat for you guys tonight? Mr. Super Kevin Campbell, inside the mind of a player, talking about Arsenal's greatest prospect since, well, maybe when he was playing. Okay, I know that we are late, but listen, the Euro...
Shut it! Tell them to shut it!
Well, look at Jermaine here. Why are we waiting? I mean, I get it. Look, Jermaine, why are we waiting? It happens.
We
don't
have
complain.
lives as well, you know. Talib Tayyib broke the neck.
We're going to brock it big time tonight, Super Kev. Welcome back. It's good to see you.
Well, do you know what? It's been a nice welcome break, to be fair. I could get loads done. There's loads of work with these Euros. There's loads of work going on. And it's nice to have a break from that now to just come back home.
Yeah, exactly. I love this one from Universal Greek. KC, are you talking inside the mind of a player or inside the mind of a player? Know what I mean? They're terrible, aren't they, Kev? They're just terrible.
Listen, player, whichever way you want to look at it.
We're going to splice it. Mark says we broke the watch. Listen, you lot. I should open a hat shop, Newman. Hat shop. I'm actually waiting for you to tell me that I look like the UPS delivery today. It's got my classic 70s shirt on, Super Kev. It's very UPS. Here we go.
Yeah. Any badges on the arm?
No badges. No.
No badges on or the bucket. Nameplate? Is there a nameplate there?
No. Oh, so good, Kev. I love it. You're back, and that's all that matters. Zamir, I had to put this up because last night, God bless Magic Mike, did a great show. Everyone loved it. But Zamir, I need Kev. Where's Kev? Now they're talking about Arteta. I need my attorney. We need our attorney. Where is he?
What are they talking about Arteta for? What's Arteta done now?
Well, he wasn't...
What's he done?
We were loosely talking.
Yeah, but
about...
what's he done that the attorney has to defend him? What's he done?
Well, he hasn't done anything, which means...
Exactly. So relax, Zamir. Chill out now.
It's getting hot under this hat already, kids.
I'm telling you, it's going to get hot tonight. I've got a feeling. Jeez.
Boom. We do. We need a Akindele. I love this. We need a theme song for Super Kev. Well, Super Kev. Come on. I mean,
I've not even given the squaddies their salute.
Go on, Kev. Give them the salute.
Come on. There we go.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's get stuck in, shall we? Before we get stuck in, Kev, I wanted to play a clip, okay? Because, hold on one second. Let me rewind this. Right, I wanted to play this because last night, Magic Mike and I, we talked a little bit about the game, about Saka. We talked about transfers. But tonight, the beauty of the show is that you, the ex-player, the legend, the man who's banged in all the goals for Arsenal, Everton, Forest, Trabzonspor, you name it, saving West Brom from relegation. You've saved 2 teams from relegation, right? So getting into your mind and you telling us what you see, what you saw last night. And then I've broken it down for you a little bit and I've got some questions for you talking about Bukayo Saka. I don't think Arsenal fans have been this excited about a player for many, many years. We were excited about Fabregas, but he came in, right? Anelka, he came in. There was your crop that came up. And I want to get into the up and then wearing the shirt, but then also wearing the shirt with no burden. So I just want to play this clip first, guys. Let's listen to this. This is Bukayo Saka after the game last night.
Right said on ITV that you're burdened with glorious purpose. How do you react to a compliment like that? And what is it with your mentality that allows you to go out on Wembley in a Euros match and just play in the fearless way you did at 19?
First of all, thank you, Ian. Ian's always supported me, so yeah, thank you for that. For me, I think I just try to stick to what I do all season. Of course, it's a big game, and I think probably one of the biggest games in my career easily. And I had all day to think about it that I was playing, but I have faith in God, faith in myself, and I have the backing of my manager, the backing of my teammates. Everyone believes in me. They encourage me and stuff like that. So when you have all of this, it just gives you confidence more than it makes you nervous. No, it's not my first time at Wembley, but I am a local boy. I've gone past the stadium millions of times. So yeah, it's really special. I think it's amazing. I've played here before and got a man of the match performance before, but that was about the fans and about my family. So tonight to have my family and of course the England fans in the stadium, it was really special, and it's a night I'll never forget.
Amazing, Kev. Firstly, I wanted to start at the very beginning because you've been here.
Can I just say this?
Yeah, go on, Kev. It's your show tonight. Go.
Can I just say this?
Yes.
That young man has made me, as an ex-pro and a fan, so proud to be an Arsenal fan, watching our player of the season do his thing. Because you know what, Soph? There's been many people, who, we want this one in, we want that one in. Saka never got mentioned. All about the England, and I'm sure we're going to cover this a bit down the road. So I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, we are.
But this young man has made me feel that performance yesterday was sensational, and he makes me feel so proud, and us Gooners proud. That's what I want to say before we even get into going back and all that. He makes us proud. Yeah.
And so, Kev, that was one of the big things because, if we want to go back, we go back to here. It melts my heart, this picture. I can't even take it. I just want to hug him. I want to hug him all the time in a I wish he was my son kind of way. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans, Kev, were talking about, watching Saka play last night was like rooting for your child, like rooting for a family member, like rooting for someone you just love, because he's so sort of the earth good boy. He's not arrogant. He's got none of those traits, Kev. And when you see this little face and the fact that he's been involved at Arsenal, I know you've talked about this on the show before, but before you get into the game,
never get tired of going back there.
Take me back there, Kev, because when I see him there, all right, I go back to here, and I go back to moments, where there's this and there's this. You and Hills, take me to the point where he's wearing the number 7 shirt right now. He loves Wrighty. He loves plays like you. He loves wearing the burden of Arsenal.
Let's go further back.
Okay.
Let's go further back to that first picture where he's just a cute little boy in an Arsenal kit with his teammates, and it's all for the fun of it, isn't it? It's all for the fun of football. You're at Arsenal Football Club, and you're proud to be part of the football club, but the goals are different. When you start to move through the age groups, the goals start to become different, and being full-time, getting a scholarship, that then is where it was apprentice or YTS in my day. This scholar, to become a scholar. So that means football is your job. It's your work. It's your livelihood. So from that little boy, he had to progress. So you need some toughness, because let me tell you something, Sophie. For any parent or anybody who's involved with football, it's not easy. It's not easy getting the kids up to go to play football. You got to feed them a lot of them eating in the car and stuff like that, getting home late at night. The parents, well, back in the day, there was no parents taking me anyway. I had to do it myself. But I'm saying there's parents who have to make sure the kids get home, homework done, feed them, get them to training on time, get them home on time. Then they have to be up for school the next day. Do you know, it's
you used to get on the bus and the train on your own, didn't you?
Yeah, of course. From what, 11, 12 years old? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But those days it's different. Those days were different. But now the mindset still has to be the same. But, you know, get into Hale End. He's a West London boy. And he's got to get to Hale End.
Yeah. He's from Ealing. He's an Ealing boy. Rebecca Lowe, our good friend Rebecca Lowe was raving about him.
That manner. Do you know what I mean? So, again, it's not just down the road, as you well know, Sophie, and getting around in London, even if you're taking the trains is a nightmare, let alone the roads. Smith Row, he's coming from Croydon. To get across the Hale End is a stretch. And the dedication has to be there. And, you know, when they're so young and you see the little picture and his little face, etc., these boys had to be dedicated from a young age. And it's hard to be dedicated because they're only babies. But you got to think about it. All these boys know is Arsenal. That's all they know.
Yeah. It's so funny, isn't it, Kev? When we're growing up, when you realize, you know, I wanted to play for Arsenal women, but I was too small. I didn't. I remember training one day with weights on my ankles trying to make it. And it was just like, there's just certain limitations you reach and you think you're a good player in school. You're a good player for your borough. You get to, like, you know, a national kind of competition. But then you realize that when you're there, holy shit, there are so many talented kids. Same thing when we were doing javelin and the 200 meters and the relays back in the day, Kev. Yeah. And you get to that point and you're like, wow,
the level is
a different grade.
Yeah, the level is, you know, I mean, it's quite funny, Sophie, when you speak to other players, and because you all hear about each other, Sophie. Yeah. Word gets around, there's a good player in South London, you know, there's some good players there, there's good player there. And then all of a sudden, you can't all come through, and then all of a sudden, you're either playing with or against some of these players. And that's before you actually get into the clubs. And then when you get into the clubs, you realize how good they are to be at the clubs.
Another different level, a totally different level.
Because it's the best of the best.
It's crazy. Okay, so let's go to this this discussion, because for me, he's so special, Kev. We've kind of gone to where it all started, and I had to show that picture because that other picture of you at that age, like when a lot of the squaddies just didn't even believe that when I showed them this picture, you were 15, 16, 15?
15 I was. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's the eye of the tiger, and he has the eye of the tiger. There's no doubt about that. So I want you to take us to yesterday's game. He was unbelievable. Well,
let's go before that. Because
okay. All right, you take me where you want to take me.
Yeah, the reason why I want to take you there is because it was really interesting when he had his interview that you played. Mm-hmm. And he said, I had all day to think about it. Mm. So that tells me, obviously, as a player, he's excited, isn't he? He's ringing up his mates and his family. Because, as he said, he played at Wembley and nobody was there. Now he's got people to sort out. He's got family. Who's going to come from the family? Everybody's going to want to come. Do you know what I mean? He's got friends. He's got, I tell you, my boys were at the game yesterday.
Were they?
Yeah,
Tyrese
my boys. Yeah, Tyrese and Kyle.
Nice.
And their mate William, they were at the game because they were just like, I've got to go. So they sorted it out and they were at the game.
I love that.
Which was great. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they know Foden and all these guys, Sancho and all that, but
they grew up playing with them, didn't they, Kev?
The same kids team. Jaden came at 14. But Phil, he was playing with Phil since they were 7.
Wow.
And they came through. Jaden joined and played with Jaden for what, 3 years or whatever. Great guys all together. And then they go and do their own thing, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You've got to do what's right for you.
Mm-hmm.
But that feeling of knowing I'm starting for England in the Euros at Wembley, my family are going to be so proud. I'm sure Mikel Arteta would have got on the phone because he mentioned the manager. The manager backs me. My teammates back me. So you can imagine the day was all, everybody getting on to him. Oh, listen, wish you all the best. You know, you can do it. Just bigging him up a little bit. So when you get that, and we know he's only a baby, Sophie, but you know what? He's a baby only in age.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you something, he plays with a fearlessness, and he plays with an intensity and a quality, Sophie. That's the other thing.
Right.
Without him, England do not win that game yesterday.
I don't think so either, Kev. And so I know from our conversations, certain games when you're young, there's a moment, you know, and you've taken us through even that time. We showed that great picture of when you signed for the Arsenal and your mum. Was it Peter Hillwood in the picture? Or Mr. Chips? Yeah, Peter Hillwood, right?
Peter Hillwood, yeah.
And your sister and you. And these are moments that it isn't easy to reach that level. And I think that's when we get to these global competitions and we get to the top of the pinnacle of the Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, Eredivisie, and Liga. You know, there are a lot of people that want to be actors and actresses and come to Hollywood in my town here, but they don't make it. They don't make it. There's this revolving door. And it's the same in sports. Mm-hmm. And then you make that and then you're there in that moment. And I wanted to start with you with the game, right? He's had 5 caps for England and he's got 3 man of the match performances, Kev.
Are we surprised? No.
I'm not. So that's where I want to take you.
The football world.
The world just realized. Tell me, Kev, because we know it.
Listen, we know it because we watch him week in, week out. We are not the force that we once were because if we'd had a team, could you imagine if we'd had a team like we had all those years back, bringing him in amongst those world-class players, what could he have been like then? It would have been amazing. But the problem Arsenal have, we've been hitching our wagons on the poor young man. And, you know, he's carried the club this season. I've said it once. You've said it. We'll say it again. Saka has carried the club. And sometimes it's been a heavy load to carry. And he hasn't been able to carry it all on his own. And, you know, he's had some indifferent games, which happened because he's only 19 years old. But, you know, we put so much on him because everything just seems so effortless for him. But now we're starting to see the world take notice of this young man because we keep hearing about Sancho and Foden and Grealish. Rightly so, because these guys have done fantastic. Greenwood, another great young player. But I'm telling you now, this young man in the middle, Rashford as well. I mean, Gareth Southgate has got the hardest job around. He's got to try and mold these guys all in together. That is hard graft. And you've got to pick your times when you play them. Now, Saka came out of nowhere, to play because the clamour was Sancho's got to play. That was the clamour. And he put Saka in because he trusted him a little bit more. Defensively, maybe. And boy, he did not disappoint.
No, he didn't disappoint.
He didn't disappoint whatsoever. In fact, he opened eyes all over the world.
He did. Even this guy, who I don't really like putting up on the old screen, but Mourinho was talking about Modric and the impact he had on the game. And he was talking about his love for Bukayo. And hearing him wax lyrical about it, and we know how he feels about Arsenal, and he's had some jabs in the past about the Gunners. But no matter what anyone says, Maureen is still top level. Look what Tottenham have been. They got rid of him. They should have let him maybe win the Carling Cup, and look at the mess that they're in. But to hear everyone talking about Bukayo today, from Lineker to Ian Wright to you to Jose Mourinho to all of these top level people in football, Kev, and to know where he came from with these fellas, you know, and
he's the youngest of the lot.
The youngest of the lot. And this is where I say, I love Reece, I love Eddie, I love Joe, but they're not Saka. This is where the heartstrings pull to the Hale End boys, but there's no Hale End boy like Saka.
No. And you know, I can I let you into a little secret here?
Oh, I love secrets, Kev. Give us the exclusive.
Here's a little secret. Some of the other boys at a certain stage were valued higher than Bukayo Saka.
Mm-hmm.
When they were all in and around the Hale End coming through, Saka wasn't the shining light.
Mm-hmm.
There were some of the other boys were the shining lights, and you know they fancied them. But this is football for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you step up to that grade, it just clicks. And for Saka, he's got the right temperament. He's got the right attitude. He realizes his game is built for professional football. Plus, he's a lefty. And it always goes down better with a lefty. Always looks quality. But Saka is the one. Smith Rowe, Smith Rowe's quality, don't get me wrong. Hopefully, he'll be the next one to start knocking on that England door. But we have got a gem in Saka. We do.
Mistake. There's a difference between, because, and I was going to, this was another segment I had for you to tap into it. But seeing as you brought it up, Kev, I'm going to bring it up now, and you can always go back to the game and the performance, because I want to get into your mind.
Leave that at the end.
Let's leave that at the end. Okay. So how is it possible that he doesn't start in the round of 16? And I want you to take me through the game, because is there anything he did differently for England that we hadn't seen at Arsenal? Or no. Gareth told him to go out and express himself. He and Grealish together, forget about it. Don't get me started on that. I mean, I had dreams last night I shouldn't be dreaming of. Okay.
Well, listen, I think there's a few Gooners who I think they get on as a
they love each other.
Of good lads.
Yeah.
And do you know the truth? I honestly just see two players who can pick the ball up and commit people, beat people, run past them, good at link-up play, know exactly when to release it, when to hold it, both of them. And if you've got two in your team, especially coming from a little bit deeper, you will do damage. You will do damage, because defenses, they can't. You know, I always talk about a mismatch. If you're gonna double team Saka and you shift the ball quickly, then Grealish has an opportunity to hurt you, and then that's what lets in. We're gonna get onto Sterling and Harry Kane at the end, but it was Saka's run, Saka's move, Saka's cross. Ball comes out to Grealish, then he puts the cross in. Saka's in there, and Sterling gets round and heads it in. If Saka doesn't set that move off and retrieve a couple of times, we don't win the game. We don't win the game. He's an amazing young man, and I think why a lot of people are really getting onto Saka now is his maturity. He's so young, but he's mature.
Kev, when you hear him in the interview I played at the beginning of the show, the way he speaks to the media, he's got you know, whether you believe in God or not, whether you're an atheist or you're a believer, there's something that centers Saka. And clearly his faith is a huge part of that. But also he believes in his talent and he's got this confidence. But the way he was raised, I've asked you this question about how you were raised. We talked about the South London side of things. We talked about Rocky in the past and the foundation, whether you're a footballer, whether you want to be a street sweeper or you want to fix electricity lines on the street, or you want to be a writer or a marketer or a salesperson. Everything starts with your parents. Everything does.
100%. Well, it's your parents and your peers, the people that are around you, because your parents raise you or try to raise people the right way. They always do. They will always try. And then you get the people, you have your family circle, and then you get people in your circle with your friends and your pals and cousins and all that kind of thing. And then you're at school, aren't you? You got the people who you're around at school and all that kind of thing. And then, you know, your net starts going a bit wider. Then Hale End, you get to Hale End. And all these things football clubs take into consideration. What's he like? What's his temperament like? And Saka's never had a problem with his temperament. Why? Because he's got the right parents who bring him up the right way. He's got the right family. He's got the right friends around him. He doesn't look to be a hellraiser or anything like that. He just looks to be a nice boy, nice young boy who loves his football. And once you've got that, who's someone who's focused, you're not going to get them to deviate.
No. And he's not taken by the bright lights of London. He grew up in London. You know, there's some players that come to London, whether they come from up north to south or they come from some place abroad over. London has a lot of distractions, Kev. You've seen it. You've been there. You're a London boy yourself.
I've been part of a few of them distractions. Don't worry about that.
You certainly have. And so to see him be so balanced and for him to have this mental attitude and strength, it is something we've said about English players before. Gaza could have been, when people talk about the conversation of the greatest players in the world, if he'd have played his cards differently, Kev, I think he's in the conversation with different players. He could have
been up there. He could have been
Georgie
up there.
Best.
At the top table. At the top table, 100%. Yeah. I think Gaza, for that time, he was the best player in the world at that 1990 World Cup. You know, he just took the game. He could, you know, we keep hearing people talk about a player who could grab a game by the scruff of the neck. Gaza could do that in a heartbeat. He could do that. And we saw Saka do that at 19 for England.
It's crazy.
It's those moments that people look at that change. You know, where he picked the ball up, he turned the defender, and then he surges and he's beating people as he goes. These are the things that are what fans remember. They get it and pass it. That's all right. But it's the players that get you off your seat, make you excited when they pick the ball up. And England have got probably 4 players like that, haven't they?
Yes, you know, they do. They do.
Foden weren't involved. Sancho was on the bench. They've got Grealish and they've got Saka. Wow. Amazing.
So here's what I love about the narrative now, because the world is seeing what Arsenal fans have known since when Unai Emery introduced Saka to the team. Okay. We also knew of him because you got the starlets from that crop of young players. And these two, you could argue, came out the strongest right off the bat, Kev. You know, and then Willock, of course, has had the season he's had. Eddie's had his chances, hasn't really lit the world on fire. And some would say Reece deserves more chances, but hasn't been given them. And it's just a competitive world that we live in. But
can I say something about Reece?
Yeah. I would love to.
I think Reece Nelson has the talent. 100% he has the talent. But I think someone's got to get hold of him and simplify his game.
He overplays?
Potentially. And his game now should be about end product. End product. One full stop. Because he's seeing a youngster who was a left footer playing on the wrong side in his position. Who's more productive than him? That should tell you.
Yeah. No, it's a fantastic point.
So, maybe I don't know. Listen, I don't know the coaches there.
Right.
Obviously, Mertesaker's one of them and stuff. But one thing I know as an ex-player, if I was his coach or I was someone in the club, I would get him and sit him down, study. I'd make sure he could study. He could understand the game.
Because he's shown these glimpses, hasn't he, Kev? Of this.
Well, that's the thing, you see, Soph. We know he's got the talent, but it's to deliver. This is the difference. Is to deliver. And sometimes you just have to simplify your game. He's got all the attributes, but can he put it together, piece it together, game in, game out? So, again, he's got to become a training ground warrior. We've seen Pepe do it. And look where Pepe's going. Pepe all of a sudden is going like that. You tell me Reece can't do it? I think Reece can. But he's got to get that engaged.
Do you think this is harsh from Elliot saying that Saka has to work on his end product as well? I mean, he's been such a star. I think we both agree that there are things that are going to progress in his game. Right now, his game is so insanely good for his age.
At 19.
At 19, like maybe we can forgive him for his end product. And I think what Elliot is talking about is scoring goals, Kev, maybe missing chances, being a bit more clinical in that regard. But
it's going to happen.
That will evolve, right?
It's going to happen. It's going to evolve. Naturally, it's going to evolve. Because people have to remember, look, this season just gone is only his first full season in the first team. At 19 years old. There's proven internationals who don't have the level of ability that Saka has. They might have more games at international level and at club level, but the talent level and the gap he's going to make up, or the gap he's going to make his own, is going to be phenomenal. And we've got to help him with that. All of us, fans, manager, club, everybody's got to help him.
Okay, so before I get into a little bit of, I'm fascinated to know what you think about a few things with regards to some of the other players you mentioned who are stars for England. You're bringing up points now that I think this is the time to, bring this up, because you've mentioned it in Kevin Says a few times. Is he in the right place? Do we have the tools and resources at the Arsenal to support Saka, to build around Saka, and to not get into a situation of a Fabregas, Kev, where you overplay him, you overextend him, you overly rely on him, you make him captain, you make all these promises, and in the end, you don't deliver. And then that translates to other players that we've seen, right, who have left, like Robin van Persie, and whether it's a Nasri or whoever.
That's down to lack of ambition. And if Arsenal don't have the ambition, the inevitable is going to happen. Because let's be honest, clubs and players, Saka's an Arsenal boy, but at the end of the day, it is about winning trophies. It's not about qualifying for Champions League. It's about winning trophies. And if you are part of a winning group, you want to stay part of the group. If you are not part of a winning group, somebody else will covet Saka and pay him a king's ransom to be a part of their winning group. So if Arsenal don't show the ambition, the inevitable is going to happen.
So, Kev, do you feel like when he has moments like this, when he has evenings like this, and he outdoes, everyone's like saying, Sancho should have played, Sancho this, Sancho that, Sancho this, Sancho that. And in the end, he ends up being man of the match. I mean, the pressure on him, Kev, I wanted to talk to you about this because Sancho is a class player. I mean, the dude is amazing.
He's brilliant. Yeah.
He's brilliant. And all this rhetoric around him, it's like, stop. He's quality. Wherever he goes, whether he stays at Dortmund or he goes to United or whatever, the dude is going to have a career with club and he's going to have a career with country, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the other thing that I wanted to tap into, in not only his talent and what he did with and without the ball against the Czech Republic, but the pressure that he was under when everyone was screaming for Sancho to start. And then to go on and do that and do what he did and then be man of the match. Yeah, and so when he has these moments, Kev, like, are we going to be able to back that up as a club?
Yeah, but that's the beauty. So that's two questions. The beauty of it was he had all day to wait and he was probably hearing and seeing. He's got tickets to sort out and all that. But he was probably hearing, oh, Sancho's got to start. Remember, they were saying Sterling shouldn't start as well. All these games, Sterling shouldn't be in there. Sterling's this, Sterling's that. Now, nobody's mentioning Saka because Foden's not played, so Sancho should start, or Grealish should start, or this one or that one, or Saka doesn't get a mention. So he's got all that. But you know what that does? Mm-hmm. It's one of two things. It's either going to break him, which he has no chance of doing because he's proven he could carry Arsenal, or it's going to inspire him. He's going to go, all right then. You want to see them, boys? You watch this tonight. You watch me tonight. Bring it on. And he was sensational. And that's with Jack Grealish in the team. Listen, he was sensational last night.
He was. He is, honestly, I've seen him play, mate. We've all seen him play amazing football for Arsenal. But it also shows you, Kev, let's be honest, in the England setup, he's surrounded by better players than he is at club level, right?
Of course.
And look what we saw. Look what Paul Pogba is proving again. Playing for France, that pass today for the Benzema goal, ridiculous. People who doubt Paul Pogba's talent,
he hit two. There was one for Mbappe in the first half. Mm-hmm. Mbappe's run off the left-hand side inside the centre half, and Pogba's on the right. He plays right of Kante, and he's put a ball through that's just bent into his run, and he's through one-on-one, and the keeper saved it up here. Mbappe's got around it, tried to whip it top corner.
Patricio's double save there was amazing. The Pogba, yeah.
I mean,
but
Pogba's world class. He's a World Cup winner. He's world class.
The dude is so good, and he's playing. And this is what worries me. And I'm not going into Arteta mode at all. But Solskjaer the same. The brakes on too much. Pogba's much better than what we're seeing of him at United. But when we see him at United, he's clearly one of the best players that they have. Same thing with Arteta a little bit, Kev. A little bit too conservative.
No, Sophie, our problem has been we haven't been at the races this season. We haven't. We've been put again. If we're relying, he's proven that he could carry the club, Saka. Mm-hmm. But the moment we're relying on a 19-year-old young man to carry Arsenal, we're in bad shape.
You've said that.
In bad shape.
You've said that. And really, Arsenal and Man United should have been in the, either one of them should have won the Europa League. They have 100%. The talent to do it. I mean, it's ridiculous. But my point is that you see sometimes players move on because, yes, of course, money, opportunity to win trophies, but also players want to play. They want to play football, right? The reason why Pogba was thinking about leaving Manchester United is maybe because he can't play his way. I want you to take me into the mind of, okay, Saka's 19. He's the jewel in the crown of Arsenal Football Club. He's the man. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's been this level of he's the man since Thierry Henry. And I come at me, Cesc Fabregas haters and lovers and everything. I love Cesc. Cesc was amazing. He was made the man and sold as the man because we lost many men. Right, Kev? But Saka, to me, has this, and Cesc is world class too. But Saka, to me, has the ability to be one of the best players in the world if he wants. Am I going too far up the mountain?
No, the ceiling. We talk about the ceiling. He could hit the stratosphere if he so chooses. The world is his oyster. I could say the world's his lobster. Because he has got talent on talent, and he's proven now that he can do it internationally at 19. Remember, we've seen Rooney come through, and we've seen Rooney rip it up. We've seen flashes of Phil Foden, but Phil Foden never done what Saka done yesterday.
No,
he never done that.
Okay,
and Phil is a damn fine player,
top shelf player.
But look who he's got around him.
Now, Kev, if you're Gareth Southgate, now we know England are going to play Germany. It was Hungary. That's what I said to England fans on Twitter a little while ago. Stop with the Hungary thing, getting excited. It's just stop until the final whistle goes.
Here
we go. We got Germany, right?
I think
now's the time to play them and put all the ghosts to rest, right?
We want them.
When you look at what Grealish, and let's not forget, Grealish was sensational. Saka was sensational. They even made Kane look more mobile. They made Kane look better. They put him in better positions. He was able to, he didn't have to come for the ball as much, did he, Kev?
No, didn't need to, because he could stay up there because they could beat their man. Makes a massive difference.
So who do you think he's going to start against Germany?
I have no idea. I'll be honest with you. Listen, here's the thing. You can't drop Sterling.
No, you cannot.
So for all those people, and I know some of you squaddies were talking about no Sterling, armchair fans, armchair managers. Sterling has proven himself. Without him, we don't get through. We don't win the group. So Sterling's got to play. Kane, he's going to play Kane.
He's got to, yeah, he's going to play.
He's going to play Kane. Here's the thing, Sophie. Does the manager change the two holding midfielders now it's going to be knockout and get some of the people who can actually open a defense up? That's the $1 million, because Saka has to play. And you would say to yourself, okay, Grealish has to play. People say Mason Mount, unlucky.
No, can't. Mount. There's no Chilwell. I would have played Chilwell. Mount is gone. They're not. I'm sorry.
They're unlucky. And once the team starts to gel and starts to move forward and start to look better, sorry, it's not my fault that, you had to self-isolate, but the team are moving now.
That's it. And Kev, you know what? I think he's going to play Henderson against Germany.
He very well might, because of the experience.
I think he's going to sit Phillips. I think he'll probably stick with Declan Rice. And I think he'll, like, Maguire's played his way back into the team, hasn't he?
I thought Maguire played well yesterday as well. By the way.
The question
is a lot different with him coming through with the ball.
Exactly,
make life easier.
Luke Shaw keeps his spot probably.
Yeah. Really
Carl Walker, he's going to trust Carl Walker.
His speed gets him through so much.
The thing that was different about England, and everyone can see it, if only he could, and if he has the balls, if he plays Grealish and he plays Saka, we could actually beat Germany, I think, have one of those Euro 96 score lines that we did against the Dutch.
Well, if he plays Grealish, Saka, Sterling, and Kane, like he did yesterday, I think we have a chance. He's always got a Foden and Sancho or a Mount in reserve. But these boys proved under immense pressure, hey, they could handle it.
Exactly. So the CIE came out, the Football Observatory came out in November 2020, Kev, with the 100 most valuable players born in this millennium. Okay. And Saka came in at number, let me check here. I think it was number 8, right? And I'm going to put this picture up for you so you can see it, Super Kev. Because when they were looking at the players, you got Torres there from City. Gabby made it into the group as well. But let's start with Saka. He's at number 7. And he's worth, in November 2020, they look at algorithms, different algorithms, right? How long you have on your contract, your stats in matches and all this kind of stuff. They valued him at 86.3 million. Gabby came in actually at number 26 with 23.7 million. Just to give Arsenal fans in chat and the squaddies, which Arsenal fans actually made the top 100, Saliba, the forgotten son, the unwanted, number 28 at 18.8 million. ESR at number 93 with 4.8 million. That was in November 2020. Villa just offered 25 million and they want to offer 30. So you can see how quickly things move forward, Kev.
Yeah, and we paid for, what is it, 27, 30 for Saliba. So
exactly. So you look at the value of Jadon Sancho, 113, Greenwood, 104, and you look at Saka, 86. After this tournament, that valuation has gone up. But your biggest fear, Kev, has always been, and you did it on Kevin Says last year, are we going to be able to hold on to these players? What's your take? Because you mentioned Foden. I mean, Saka's performance made Foden's performances in the 2 group stages look so average.
Yeah, and this is the thing. And Foden's a wonderful player. He is a wonderful player. But we've got to be honest. I always talk about the eye test, Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
The eye test tells me Foden's a quality player. I've known Phil since he was 7 years old. Fantastic talent. But look who he's got around him.
Exactly.
You stick that around Saka, you've got he'll go other levels.
Mm-hmm.
But that's our biggest problem, Sophie, and that's why this summer is so important. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this summer is so important, Soph, because we really do have to get some help for this young man.
Mm-hmm.
We do. We need it.
So I wanted you to get all your stuff out for Saka and taking us inside the mind of a player. Kev, what's he... Before I want to carry on with what you're saying, because I've got a quick fire 5 for you at the end. And some of that involves what you were just saying in terms of other players coming into the club. I want to save that to the end, though.
Okay.
When you're a young kid and you're trying to burst into the team and you got to challenge Smudger and all these different players, right? And then we've said ad nauseum on the show, there's no rotation there. There's no cup team. There's no Premier League team. There's no Europa League team. There's no, squad. It's a small squad. And it's even harder when you were coming through the ranks to break into the team. And it's hard for me to say to you, take me into Saka's mind, but take me into your mind in terms of what you think he might be thinking, because he loves Arsenal. He loves the club. He grew up there.
Yeah, I mean, Saka's thinking about Arsenal getting to the level where he wants to be on a par or better than the lads he's around.
Mm-hmm.
He's seeing them with England, and he's proved it on the pitch. 5 games, 3 man of the matches. Who's the last player to ever do that? At 19. That would be a good one to find out, squaddies. Player at 19 years old or under 21, first 5 games and he's got 3 man of the matches. One of them's a Euro qualifier.
Not even Gaza did that.
I'm sure. Not even Gaza.
I don't think Shearer even did that. No way.
So again, the levels that this young man is at, and he's proving, he's always, again, that eye of the tiger, he's proving himself.
Mm-hmm.
And Delta Source, listen, Rooney, unbelievable. I don't know if he was man of the match in his 3 out of his first 5, probably.
But he was amazing.
He was amazing. He was amazing. He was unbelievable at 14, trust me, when I first saw him. But you have to ask yourself these questions, Soph, about the plan from the club, because Saka's rubbing shoulders with the best around. And he's proving he's one of the best around.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's going to be one of the best around, Arsenal, you know, they're ambitious. We've lacked ambition at the football club. Well, other teams will look at that and say, do you know what? We'll get into his agent now.
Start talking.
We'll get into his agent now and just let our feelings be known.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you now, I think he's just signed a new 5-year contract, didn't he? Or 4-year. They'll have to give him a new one.
Can we extend that one?
Seriously, Sophie, they'll have to. If he carries on doing what he's doing in these championships, they're going to have to give him a new one. I'm telling you.
Good evening to all 220 of you in live chat. Thanks for joining us this late after the Euro games this evening.
Hit the like button, squaddies. Hit the like button if you love Saka and hate the Spuds.
At ease, soldiers. Do it. Don't let Kev have to deal with you, because you know what he does when he's got to deal with you. You don't want any of that. He's going to brock some necks. Even brock Rooney's neck on the old pod the other day.
I was gonna.
But so Kev, let's get to we've talked about how amazing he was playing for England. We know the talent at Arsenal. The world's just woken up to it. The goal now is to support him. So here's how I want to get you out on the show tonight. I prepared a quick 5-5 for you. The first two are based around building a team and a squad that takes some of the pressure off Saka, but also builds a squad that can be competitive in the Premier League again, right? So Leicester City valued James Maddison at 80 million. I want to know, is the market value for the two English players we're going, it's what the market value is for English players. I mean, Man United paid 85 million for Harry Maguire. At the time, a lot of people thought that they were crazy. But towards the latter part of this season, I think he's proven that he's worth the money, and they missed him. They missed him in the Europa League final. Let's be honest.
Didn't they?
Yes, they did. So do you think Maddison is worth 80? Jeez, I can't. That one just doesn't sit well with me.
No, I don't think he's worth 80. But if that's the going rate, I think I think they're going to go high. And if somebody were to offer 60, I think or 50, they would consider. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, Kev.
It's a lot of money, because we're talking about Grealish at 80. I think Maddison's a good player, but he's no Jack Grealish.
Kev, if Maddison's worth 80, Grealish is worth 100, 110.
Exactly. It just puts the. But you know, if it's ours, you're gonna go in for the biggest. You want the biggest transfer fee, don't you?
Yeah,
so
and
you put an outrageous one in.
I agree with, like, you know, he had some injuries. Look, he's definitely a good player. I think he's the type of player that could thrive at Arsenal. He's hot and cold though, Kev. He peaks for a few months and then he dips and then he's back. I think Arsenal have enough of that. For me, it's like you need someone who's going to show up every single. ESR shows up every game he plays in. Fatigue is what hurt ESR. Saka shows up every single game. Fatigue is what hurt Saka in the last part of the season. Tierney shows up every game. Injuries have hurt Tierney from being there the way he needs to. Kevin.
Consistency. Our problem's been consistency.
Consistency. All right.
Consistency of what we do has been poor.
Let's go to the next player then. Another English player, Ben White. Kev, you've watched a lot of. You covered Brighton and Arsenal this season. I can't remember if Ben White was playing in that game. You know, credit to some Arsenal fans. They were like, I didn't really know Ben White before this season.
Yeah, he played at Leeds last season.
Yeah.
And done very well.
Not a lot of fans watch the Championship, Kev.
He's done very well last season. And that's why when he went back to Brighton, he was straight in the first team.
So what's your take on Ben White? Is he worth 50?
I don't think he is. I don't think he's worth 50. But here's the problem. if you're going to get any decent player of note and he's English, they come with a premium. English players come with a premium. They do. And, we've got Saliba there, and there's a lot of rumors that, he's going to be loaned out again. And I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it because he's already had 2 loans. He needs to come in and start playing some football.
Super Kevin Campbell. If we're considering loaning Saliba out for a 3rd season, sell him. His stock is high right now. Sell him.
Yeah, I can't. That's why I say I just can't see it, Soph. I just can't see, because you know what? Gabriel's going to be at the Olympics.
Yes.
We've lost David Luiz is no longer at the club.
Correct.
So they're your 2 main starting centre-halves, basically.
Holding can be prone to an injury in a season and be out for a little bit.
Not only injury, but he's more of a squad player for me.
Yeah. And Kev, Pablo Mari his style of play and his intelligent style of play, he's not going to be able to play all the time against fast speed teams, Pablo Mari.
That's right.
He and Gabriel together, lefties, he's not going to... We know Arteta doesn't like that. So I'm asking this question for Zamir. Is White better than Saliba, KC, or Mavropanos?
Well, Mavropanos hasn't really played much in the Premier League. Ben White's been playing regularly in the Premier League. So, Mavropanos, out of sight, out of mind, I'm afraid. Now, if Arsenal are looking to buy him, which rumour has it they are, if they're going to spend that money for him, they're going to play him.
100%.
They're going to play him. You're not going to mess around. I mean, no. Rob Holding, listen, they're protecting Rob Holding. They could always look to sell. They bought Rob Holding for £2 million.
Yeah, from Bolton. And and to be honest with you, Kev, Rob's come in and done a good job in certain games, and he's a great professional. He works hard. He's a good team player. And
Sophie, he's no trouble.
No, he's no trouble.
He's no trouble. He's outplayed his £2 million transfer fee.
It's a bargain.
He signed a new contract, which some people were questioning.
Yeah.
But if we had to move Rob Holding on, we'd move him on. There was rumours that he was going to go on loan or got sold. I think Newcastle and Palace last season. I think there's going to have to be a certain mindset that's, we discussed it, where in the football club, we've got to get serious now. We've got to get serious. Who are the players who's going to move this team forward? Me personally, I think Rob Holding's a squad player. I don't think Rob Holding starting every week is going to move us forward, if I'm honest with you, because he struggles with the speed.
Yeah.
That's probably why Saliba and Ben White, the two, Ben White's a youngster, Saliba's even younger. It's their time now.
It is. And look, Kev, when you see how some teams have taken their chances on, everyone thought Liverpool were overpaying for Van Dijk. Everyone thought that City overpaid for Stones. And yes, he went through a difficult period, but my goodness, he's come back and he's done a great job for City. Everyone thought Man United overpaid for Harry Maguire. So if you're talking about being able to get Ben White for 50 and in 2 years he's going to be worth 80, he's still young as well. I just think that these are the things we need to be thinking of too, because...
Well, let's not look at what he's worth. Let's look at what he's worth to Arsenal. Because if we're putting price tags on people, that means we're looking to sell. And we ain't looking to sell. Mr. Door, top man. He's a Forest he's a Forest fan. Big Forest channel, that guy.
Oh, yeah?
Brilliant
Love
guy,
it.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr.
And he
Door.
watches us religiously.
I love it. Welcome.
So
we love a bit of Forest on the show.
Let's look at the value. If we're going to bring players in, there's certain things we need to address. Is the consistency and the quality. If we can start getting that in the team, their value will go up if we get better. But it's the value to the club. The value to the club has to be consistency.
Yes, I completely agree with you, Kev. It's our Achilles heel.
Always has been for years.
Biggest struggle now in the Premier League for years. I mean, and we've hit rock bottom. There's the only ways up. This was hitting rock bottom, right? Being dumped out of Europe for the first time in 5 years, finishing in the position that we did, the amount of losses, all of it. We've hit rock bottom.
Yep.
So we're in football AA. And we've talked about this before, the 12 steps. Are we willing as a club to take those 12 steps? We know that Edu and Arteta want to find a way to do that. We hope the owners will support them in what they're trying to do. We also need Arteta to believe in certain players. And these three, whatever happens here, Pepe's saying, there's this continual rumor about Tuchel wanting Aubameyang at Chelsea. There's still this rumor surrounding whether Lacazette is going to stay or go, because now, you know, we're looking at strikers, Kev. But
Andre Silva, apparently.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no.
Look, it's one of them where you know, listen, Arteta might say, listen, in his head, I want to freshen the front line up. Because there's rumors that Sterling and Mahrez.
I don't believe that one.
No, but again, the rumors are City want Kane and Grealish. And if Kane and Grealish go there, so there's some noses out of joint.
Kev, Kane and Grealish is that rumor. I think most of us believe. Sterling loves Arteta. We know that. Period. He's missed him since he's left Manchester City, right? But he's also won a Premier League. Mahrez is going to go, I think, abroad. I think he'll go to like a PSG or I don't know. Mahrez, I just can't see those two leaving what they have.
I'm not saying they're going to come to Arsenal, but what I'm saying is the rumor is Arteta. Obviously, Arteta knows Sterling.
He knows him very well.
He knows the system. He knows exactly how he wants him to play, etc. And if you look, I think this is the first season where Sterling hasn't really hit the heights that he has hit in previous, because he was scoring 20-odd goals a season as a wide left player.
Yeah.
It's a lot of goals. So that is a lot of goals.
It's a lot of goals. All right. 245 of you in live chat. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate it. My quick fire 5 turned into a little bit longer than that because, you know, that's how things go here. But there is another one I wanted to ask you about, Kev, because you know the man. I don't have an issue with Steve Bold being asked to leave the club. I know Jack Wilshere had an issue with it. There's been a lot of love for him, of course. 10th out of 13th this season. Nearly got relegated. Won only 6 of 24 fixtures. I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to really move on and evolve other things in the club. If we're going to take a risk on Arteta being the manager for Arsenal Football Club when he's a rookie, why can't we say, you know what, at that level, we need a bit of a shake-up? What's your take real quick on the Steve Bold thing?
Well, so a lot of the time there's different circumstances. Because if you're really strong in the 23s, something's wrong. Because the 23s should be either players who aren't quite there, made up of younger players who can play in the youth team, but are stepping up to play. Because the ones who were close should either be in the first team squad or out on loan.
Yeah, but Kev, you were smashing it when you were in the youth. I mean, you guys were winning the FA Cup. I mean, look at Chelsea's youth team.
But Sophie, hold on. If you listen to what I said,
yeah.
If you listen to what I said, if you're getting near that first team, you get out on loan. Chelsea have loaned. Mount's been on how many loans?
Yeah.
Reece James has been on how many loans? Tammy Abraham's been on how many loans? That's what you have to do, because why? The under-23 football is not developing you. I went out on loan at 18, 19 years old. So that just tells you reserve football. I was doing reserve football. But when you're doing reserve football, they want to see you. They've got to move. They've got to progress you. So if you're going to have a strong squad in the under-23s and you're going to be smashing it every week, something isn't right at the football club. It's a learning curve for the ones who are younger, maybe, ones who are coming back from injury, or ones that ain't quite there yet. But finishing 13th ain't great, obviously. That's poor.
That's not
poor.
10th.
10th is poor.
There's 13 teams, Kev. We nearly got relegated.
No, but believe you me, it's a lot. The way the reserves under 23s isn't like the reserves how it was. Because the reserves how it used to be, you used to be playing against pro players all the time. First team players. Now, some of the first team don't even play reserve games.
Crazy.
So how do they keep their match fitness?
Yeah. I mean, I hear you, and I completely agree, Newman. How does Bold get sacked and not Arteta? Well, because it's a totally different kettle of fish. Bold's been at the club for 33 years.
Long time.
He's been there a really, really long time. And, I think we need to reboot a little bit. I love him. He's been great, but he's a better player than manager. He's a better player than coach. Not every player makes a great coach. See, filed under Gary Neville, Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry. They have not proved themselves at managerial level. Not everyone is a Diego Simeone and Antonio Conte or Pep Guardiola. It just doesn't work that way. Brian Robson. Let's go far. How far back do you want to go?
Hey, Brian Robson was the great escape and all that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Not everyone was.
Yeah.
Brian Robson was a legendary player who translated into a really good manager.
And you know what? Sometimes it's a little bit of luck. You need a little bit of luck.
Yeah,
you do. You need a tad bit of luck, and you need good players. If you get good players, you got a chance.
Yeah. Wow, brilliant stuff. It's 1 hour and 7 minutes. 7 minutes of quality injury time. And my goodness, those Euros came to life. Kev, we talked a few days ago together saying it's a little bit boring, but my goodness, last night and tonight, especially tonight with Portugal, Germany, France, Hungary, putting it in the mixer. Yeah. The Poland game, Sweden. I mean, it was a really good night of football, wasn't it, Super Kev?
Yeah, it was. And I think the knockout stages, we're going to get there. We're going to get really excited, definitely.
And I won't ask you about England, Germany yet. We're going to have plenty of time to do that.
Well, I want to win.
I know who you want to win.
You know who I want to win.
There's no doubt about
the result, but I know I want to win.
It's never past Kevin's bedtime. If there was an NBA game on tonight, is there? Because he's up watching the playoffs. We text during the.
There is.
How about Devin Booker? Come on, get in.
Wow, do you see his Uta?
Yeah.
God.
My goodness.
But
I think I'm rooting for the Phoenix Suns now.
Well, listen, the Suns have been good. The Suns have been good. But you know what? I've got a feeling the Bucks might do it,
Oh, come on, Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis is
What am I saying?
Well, isn't he?
Come on, I retract my comment. I'm all about.
You see, I just wanted you to go there so I could put the Giannis in.
So you can rip me. What am I thinking?
Put Giannis in.
Small market team. See how even I forget about Giannis. I mean, come on. This is it. This is the making of him, Kev. If he really wants to be an MVP and take over from LeBron as the best player in the league and KD, he's got to win it. He's got to win the big one.
Listen, he's been MVP a couple of times of the league and got turfed out of the playoffs.
Big time.
But I think them beating the Nets in 7 and on the Nets home floor.
That was crazy.
Was huge. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting seeing that tonight. And they played the unfancied Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young,
what a player.
Trae Young has been lights out.
Absolutely.
But I just think this is a step too far. I think the Bucks are going to do this.
Well, the Bucks got lucky too because of the injuries to Harden and Kyrie as well. Let's not forget that a little bit.
Yeah,
along
but they
the way,
still
right?
got KD there. KD's like,
he's the Don.
The 49-point game was ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Well, look, we'll continue our basketball conversation, you guys, on WhatsApp. Brilliant stuff from Kev tonight. Tomorrow is the first time in 2 weeks there's no football games. We have to wait till Saturday, first knockout game between Wales and Denmark. So the Highbury squad returns at its usual time of 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Unless you guys like the 10 o'clock time slot, you let us know what you prefer. We are here to appease you. Kev, are you back tomorrow? Or are you on vacation? You're not. You're off for the rest of the week, aren't you?
I'm away. I am back. I'll be back on Tuesday.
All right.
I'll be back on air on Tuesday.
Okay, lovely. And a lot of you have been asking about Curtis Shaw. We did have him scheduled, but there was a time conflict with the Euros in him doing his show. So we will be getting Curtis on. Do not fear. That will happen sometime soon as well. So hold on to your hats and we'll make that happen. I'll be back tomorrow night at 8, maybe with a little surprise. Who knows? We'll see. And until then, Kev, everyone needs to hit the like button if they like Bukayo, if they love Bukayo Saka. Tell them, Kev.
Listen,
I hand over to you now.
Hit the like button if you love Bukayo Saka. If you felt proud that the Arsenal boy was doing it for us, and you ate the Spud Squaddies. Hit that like button. Addy!